Hey Shanti. Hey sweetie. Hey Subhadra. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Eva, Eva. Oh, in Spanish is Eva. Eva. Zeus or Zeus is over there crying. He's an old boy, 12 years old, like a baby. Parvati there is doing something. And here's Subhadra Negra. So, I'm a modern day hippie. I've been living like a hippie for many years now. Many people don't get that, but some do. Recently, one person told me, "Oh, Eddie, I have a friend who's like you, except that she has a lot of money. You know, she's very spiritual and everything. She has a lot of money, but she's a hippie, like you. But she has a lot of money." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I got that reflection, and I've had it a few times before, and I guess now I'm getting it that more people see me as a hippie. I've had long hair before. Last time I had long hair was 2019. I let it grow long. I started letting it grow long right before I went to India on my first India trip. And then I kept letting it grow long that year until the end of the year, and then I cut it short again. And I went to India in February. Well, no, actually I flew out on January 31st or 30th to Florida to meet up with an old high school friend, a dear friend. We lost touch again. He's got too much on his plate or just doesn't want to be bothered, whatever it is. Brian, an old friend of Indian descent. His family arrived in Trinidad, Tobago, maybe 150 years ago, and other part of the family, whatever, but that's what I know. So I'm a modern day hippie, yeah. Hippie, hippie, hippie. Oops, dropped my backpack. I mean, I still have some of my good clothing from the day when I used to like dressing with brand names like Tommy Hilfiger, Ralph Lauren Polo, Perry Ellis, Marité Francois Gilbert Diesel. But today I'm more of a yogi type person, but I don't have the yogi clothing I used to have before, the whatever you want to call it. So yeah. And I think at some point I'll let my hair grow long again. I'm just not into going to town every 10 days to 2 weeks to get a haircut to keep the fade going, make it look good. And I was still, until recently, I had been, trying to please people with my hairstyle, especially women, and my work, my students. But no, I think at some point in the next year or two, I'm gonna just let it grow long again. And I live in a good climate here with the temperature doesn't bother me, because it's down in Medellin or in very warm weather, long hair is just bothersome. And then you gotta put it up like a sadhu, like the Indian sadhus, the Naga Sadhus, and all of that. The babas. Man, I have met some interesting babas. Let's get into that. So I'm a modern day hippie. I'm a spiritual journey person, a journey man. And I embarked on this spiritual journey, like started to get serious with it, really serious, back in 2007, 2008 with pranayams. I didn't even know what they were called that. And looking into Buddhist teachings and philosophy, but just a few things, very few at that time. Then Bhagavad Gita, but that's a story for another day. But the Babas, the Naga Sadhus, the Sadhus I have met in India on my 2 trips. Wow. I'll tell you about one guy. I just got to make sure that the bus doesn't pass by, because I got to take the Hamlet bus. The Hamlet bus. Let's look at you instead of your pretty face, not my face. Your face is pretty, Eva. Eva. She's a beauty. 3:13, not yet. Ice cream, that looks good. Maybe I'll get myself an ice cream cone down in town. And well, let's focus on Eva. On Eva, or Eva in Spanish. So, baby girl. Yeah, I remember the first cool Baba or Naga Sadhu I met was in Varanasi, Banaras, Kashi. The old part of Varanasi, old Varanasi. Right there on the Ganges River, on the Gangama River. And this guy was a Naga Sadhu. He was completely butt naked. And he was just smearing ash on his body because that's like the, let's say, quote unquote, the clothing for them. The holy ash. I'll include some photos in this video of that meeting if I still have them from my 2019 trip. And cool. But I don't have the video anymore. I had a video, but that's gone. But it's somewhere in the channel at the beginning of this, back in 2020. And he was a cool sadhu, even though I didn't understand what he said. He didn't understand what I said, but I had an interpreter. And we had a nice exchange for a few minutes there. And I sat with him and my interpreter, a guy I met there that was hanging out with them, another Indian dude that had lived in Europe for some years and knew how to speak some good English, really some good English. Because he was a cook in some, I think it was in Spain. Oh no, that was another dude. But anyway, the Naga Sadhu, that was cool. It was so awesome. When you see the photo, he's a very eccentric looking dude. I don't know if he's still alive. He was a young Naga anyway. Another one that I met was also there. I remember sitting down and talking to him for a few minutes on the steps, on the ghats. One of the other ghats. It was not Asi Ghat. It was not Tulsi Das Ghat. It was another ghat. I just don't know what ghat. And cool, and we talked for a little bit. He spoke some English, had some knowledge of English, kind of like a pre-intermediate kind of level English, because I'm a teacher, so I can tell you if it's elementary, upper elementary, or pre-intermediate, lower pre-intermediate, upper pre-intermediate, intermediate, etc. level of English knowledge. And yeah, that guy was pretty cool. And we sat down, and he had his hair long, matted hair, like, you know, like a Rastafari. The original Rastafari is Shiva, Lord Shiv, Mahadev, Volenath. And, I mean, different names. He has like 108 names. And, yeah. And we had an exchange. I just don't remember about what, but it was cool. The energy was nice. And then, this past October, I was in Rishikesh in 2023. I met another cool, he was another sadhu, I don't know from what akara or line of Hinduism or whatnot, since Hinduism is not a religion. It's just a way of spiritual life, a way of life, a way of connecting with oneself in God and whatever you want to call it, the universe, etc. The origin of everything. Subhadra, relax. And Subhadra is a very cranky young girl. Well, they're about 4 years old now. All three of them are 4 years old. This one is older. I think this one is 7 years old, right? Baby girl, Eva. And yeah, he asked me for money to buy some ghee for his rituals. And I said, okay. And I said, no, let me not give you the money. Let's go. For some reason, I lost the rest of that video clip. I don't know what happened, if I turned it off by accident. Anyhow, cool experiences in India with sadhus, and the imposter I didn't talk about. It was an imposter sadhu. I ran across a few of them, but there was one I remember in Allahabad. That's the thumbnail that I used for this video, the thumbnail and everything, where he's putting his hand above me, giving me a blessing. And he asked me for money. I mean, you don't ask a person for money when you're giving them a blessing. When a sadhu gives you a blessing, if he's a real sadhu or she's a real sadhu, they're not asking for money. They just want to bless you if they feel your energy is good or whatever. Or if they just feel compassionate, they want to give you a blessing, because older people can give younger people blessings, not the other way around, from what I learned from Mother Leela, Ma Leela in Pushkar, Jay Pushkar. So yeah, and I remember even in Nepal, there was a sadhu always going around, dressed as a sadhu person, and with a little begging bowl, with a little pot, and dressed in all the sadhu clothing, the saffron thing and everything, and with the Shiva symbol and all. And then they would come up to people, ask for money, ask for money. I don't know if that's just some sadhus doing that now, but from what I understand, from a true sadhu, he or she don't ask for money. They depend on the grace of God, the grace of the universe, the grace of people. They don't ask for money, but they just do. What I do know from what I remember studying about the sadhus, they do go from house to house when it's time to eat, because they're renunciant monks and they're living out in the open or wherever people might take them in terms of a temple or some ashram for a little while they're traveling and working on spiritual enlightenment, on the pursuit of moksha or mukti, liberation from samsara. So they're not supposed to be asking you for money. That's what I know. Maybe things have changed these days and some are doing it, but they're not supposed to. It's not seen as good when you're surrendering to the all-pervading, all-conscious, all whatever. There you go. That's it. This is this whole tent city here on the ghats of the Ganga River here in Varanasi with all the Naga Sadhus, all the Naga Sadhus here camped out, todos los Naga Sadhus. Aquí todos son puras carpas y ellos hacen aquí, fuman sus cosas, they smoke their stuff and all that, that's what they follow in the sun. Entonces ven un poquito de lo que es esto, de su cultura, de esa parte de la cultura. You can see a little bit of their culture, of this part of their culture, that they do all of this, and this is very nice. Namaste. And very nice, muy bacán, muy cool todo esto. Vivirlo. It's very nice to be able to experience this, to live it. If you feel the energy, you're good. If you don't, you don't.